Welcome back to my home system. Currently right now is day 9. It is early morning. Right now I currently test my system about 2 times a day. Once in the morning when I first get up and once when I get home from work. My current testing regime right now is I'm using the API Freshwater Master Kit. I have a Tetra 6-in-1 strips, which basically just has an additional chlorine, which I don't need, as well as a series of Hodge tests. I also run for pH both an Apera and a Blue Lab pH pen. They pretty much are the same. The Apera is much faster and can also be calibrated to 3 points instead of just 2, whereas the Blue Lab takes a lot more time. Once you put it in, you have to wait a good 30 to 60 seconds for an accurate reading, whereas the Apera is almost immediate. You have it within a couple seconds. The Apera can also be calibrated to 3 points, so you can calibrate it to 7 pH as well as 4 and 10 at the same time, whereas the Blue Lab can only be calibrated to either 7 and then either 4 or 10 as far as I'm aware. I will look into that a little bit more, but I use that for a more accurate pH reading. The Freshwater Master Kit is pretty good at pH, but I'm finding these test strips kind of suck. The Tetra strips puts me pretty much about into like the 6.2 range currently. Let's see if I can show that on camera. Currently right now, it puts me probably somewhere in the 6.2 to 6.8 range, which isn't actually too bad right now, but a lot of times it goes 6.2 to 6.8. So if you're anywhere below that, you end up with just that. You end up with a reading of about 6.2 or kind of somewhere in between, and it's really hard to tell. I would strongly recommend getting digital pH meters. I also have like a really easy budget, like cheap one coming as well, and I'm going to compare it against both of those. The cheap ones supposedly are just about as good. I'm a big fan of the Apera. I'm also a big fan of the Blue Lab, but the Blue Lab, like I said, just takes a lot longer. The Apera is almost immediate, and the readings are basically the same. The other benefit is the Apera has changeable pH probes, so if anything ever happens to that one, I can just replace the probe instead of having to replace the whole pen, as well as it's accurate to 2 decimal places, where the Blue Lab is only 1. So in short, the Blue Lab will tell me 7.5, whereas the Apera will tell me 7.48. It's just a little bit more accurate. It's just kind of nice to have. Currently, I do have some nitrates in my system, like I've said before. However, I do not have any nitrifying bacteria as far as I can tell. Currently, my pH is sitting about 7.4-ish, give or take, 7.38 according to the Apera. I do have some ammonia in my system from me dosing it, no nitrites, and I do have nitrates, like I said, left over from the bacteria that I killed off. I do also have algae growing in my system, which is kind of a good sign. I will be topping off these grow beds with more stone to kind of cover up the water level a little bit, but it is nice to see that I do have something growing in my system, even if it is just algae.